Okay, welcome to Best of TCS Digital. A person need to weigh amounts from 1 kg to 121 kg. Any number between 1 and 121, including 1 and 121, a whole number we can say when it is said that to the nearest kg, using a beam balance. Beam balance, it is the balance something like this, isn't it? To do this, what is the minimum number of weights he need and how heavy should each weight be? Now, when we have two pens to weigh, the two kind of logic we can use. First is, can we keep weights on both the pen? Or can we keep weights on only one pen? If we are keeping weights on both the pen, this is known as subtraction and addition, both is allowed. Because if I am keeping just weights on only one pen, that is known as addition. And if I am keeping weight on another pen also, that means subtraction is also allowed. So under the different situation, the different kind of number system will hold good. So in case 1, when both addition and subtraction is allowed, this is nothing but powers of 3. Keep on adding the powers of 3, starting from 3 to the power 0, which is nothing but base system 3 logic is used here. So 3 to the power 0 plus 3 to the power 1 plus 3 to the power 2 till 3 to the power n should be greater than or equals to 121. We need to find the value of n, something like that. So it is starting with 1, then the summation of this side would be a is 1 into, like it is going to n plus 1, 3 to the power n plus 1 minus 1 upon 3 minus 1. This should be greater than 121. 3 to the power n plus 1 minus 1 is greater than equals to 242. 3 to the power n plus 1 is greater than equals to 243. 243 is 3 to the power 5. That means n should go up to 4. Okay, so 3 to the power n is equal to 3 to the power 4. N should go up to 4. So we will add 3 to the power 0, 3 to the power 1, 3 to the power 2, 3 and 3 to the power 4. We require 5 weights and the weight would be 1, 3, 9, 27 and 81. We can check any number we can form with help of 1, 3, 9, 27 and 81 till 121 using addition and subtraction, a unique question from number system 7. If only x plus y or something on one pen is allowed, we can try out any number and we can form it. But if in case 2, where only addition is allowed means only weights can be kept only on one pen. If that is there, then here the binary number system holds good. That means instead of 3, we will be using powers of 2. So it would be 1 into 2 to the power n plus 1 minus 1 by 2 minus 1 is 1 is greater than equals to 121. 2 to the power n plus 1 is greater than equals to 122. So now 122 it should be greater than 122. So the nearest power of 2 is 128. That is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. That is 2 to the power 7. So n is equals to 6 in this case. We need 7 weights. 2 to the power 1, 4, 8, 16, 32, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 64, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 2 to the power 0 is 1. 1 is also required. We start with 2 to the power 0. Okay. So instead of 1 I have written 2 earlier. It is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 7 weights and the weight of the weights would be 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64. With one pen only we can find anything from 1 to 121. So depending upon the case we are choosing, if subtraction, addition both are allowed, we can do it in 5 weights, where the power of 3's comes into picture, number system 3. And if only 1 pen is allowed, we need 7 of the weights, and in this case binary system or powers of 2 features. Okay, let's look at this question. Again, a very interesting question to discuss. Like 100 people standing in a circle in an order 1 to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4 till 100 people are standing. Number 1 has a sword. He kill next person, he kill number 2 and give the sword to number 3. Now number 3 also does the same. That means he kills number 4 and gives sword to number 5. And it keep on moving till the time there is only one survivor in this circle. Which number survives at the last? There is a theorem attached to these kind of games, a circular games of eliminating the next one and then moving on. Then in how many cycles all will be eliminated and one will remain there. And the theorem says that if there are 2 to the power n persons in the circle, theorem says if there are 2 to the power n person in the circle, then survivor is the one who is starting the game. This is the theorem, and if we stick to this, we can find answer in no time. Theorem says that if there are 2 to the power n persons in the circle, then the survivor is the one who is starting the game. We can see that suppose there are 4 persons in the circle and number 1 starts, then he kills number 2, gives to 3, 3 kills number 4, gives to 1, 1 kills number 3, and he is the survivor. So if there are 2 to the power n person in the circle, survivor is the one who is starting the game. In our case, there are 100 people in the circle. Okay, so highest power of 2 contained in 100 is 64. So that means till the time there are 64 persons alive, and the one who is holding the sword at that time would be the survivor. That means to have 100 people alive in the circle, we should have 100 minus 64, that is 36 people out of the circle. Now as we can see that the first person who is out of the circle is 2, the second person who is out of the circle is 4, the third person which is out of the circle is 6. That means the 36th person who is out of the circle is roll number 72. Number 71 kills number 72 and gives sword to 73. When the sword is there in the hand of Mr. 73, we can see that there are 64 people left in the circle. So when the sword is with number 73, the theorem starts holding good. That means now there are 2 to the power n people in the circle, and the survivor would be the one who is starting the game at that time. When 73rd person is holding the sword, there are 64 people, that is exact power of 2, and he will be the survivor. Which number survives at the last? If 100 people are there, number 73 would be the survivor. To make this thing more clear, let's suppose there are only 50 people. 50 people in the circle. Then how to build a formula for that? Highest power of 2 in 50 is 32. 50 minus 32 is 18. Double it up, 36. That means when 36th person die, 36 number, roll number 36 die in this circle of 50 people, and the sword is with the 37th roll number, then there would be 32 people alive in the circle, and hence roll number 37 would be the survivor if there are 50 people in the circle. It's all about the theorem which we need to understand thoroughly. 2 to the power n people in the circle. Survivor is the one who is starting the game. So, suppose there are 70 people or there are 150 people. What would be the answer? Please try out yourself and give answers in the comment box. Keep playing. The famous drawer and the sock sum. In a drawer, there are 8 blue socks, 6 green socks, and 12 black socks. What is the minimum number of socks a person must take from the drawer without looking to be certain that he had 2 socks of the same color? Please mind this is not a question of probability. This is the question of surety. And these kind of questions either are done with the help of worst case scenarios. What may happen worse to you? We raise up those scenarios and then we try to find the answer. Or this can also be done using pigeonhole principle. You can go through it and we can solve sums also using pigeonhole principle. But here worst case scenario will best fit in. Now, the property, as far as property of socks is concerned, if it is a normal socks, you cannot differentiate between the left leg sock and the right leg socks, isn't it? That means both are same. So, as far as the worst case scenario is concerned, let the first socks which I pulled up is blue color. The second socks which I pulled up is of green color. And the third socks which I pulled up is of black color. This is the worst which can happen in any sequence whatsoever. The worst thing which can happen is when I pull up 3 socks one after another, they all are of different color. Quite possible? Yes, possible. Now, when I pull up the 4th socks, whatever be the color of the 4th socks, it's going to match any of these, correct? It can be like blue, then we will have a blue pair. It can be green, then we'll have a green pair. It can be black, then we'll have a black pair of black colored 2 socks, or we will have 2 socks of the same color. So whenever we have situation like this, pick up 4 socks and we would be sure that we have taken up 2 socks of the same color. At least, yes, it might happen that all the 4 socks are of the same color. Quite possible. But we are sure that 2 will be of the same color if 4 socks are pulled up from this drawer, courtesy worst case scenario. And these are the minimum number that to be drawn. So, for what is the minimum number of socks? To be certain that he has 2 socks of the same color, answer is 4. So moving on to the next variant, how this question is different from the previous one. In a drawer, there are 8 blue socks, 6 green and 12, same as the previous one. What is the minimum number of socks Mr. M must take from the drawer without looking to be certain that he has got 2 black color socks? Now, if we think about going wrong, going worse, what worse can happen? Worst that can happen is the first 8 drawings are all of these 8 blue socks. The next 6 drawings are all of these 6, this is green socks. And now the next 2 would be 2 black. That means Mr. M need to draw this time 16 socks to be sure that he have drawn 2 black socks. You may now raise, why can't we get the 2 black socks in the first 2? Yes, we can get 2 black socks in the first 2 even. It can be black, black. Fine. But that comes with the probability. That comes with the probability of 12C2 upon 26C2 that the first two drawings are black. But we are looking out for surety. For surety, we need the worst case. What may go wrong? The first 6 are green, or then next 8 are blue, or the first 8 are blue, next 6 are green. The first 14 are not a single one black, and it is quite possible. But when you pick up 15th and the 16th one, you are 101% sure that out of 16, at least 2 are black socks. Yes, it is quite possible that out of 16, all 12 are black. But if we pick up 15, we are not sure that both of them are black. To be sure, we will use worst case scenario, and here answer would be 16. In a drawer, there are 4 pairs of black gloves. Mind the characteristics of gloves. Gloves. Generally we wear in our both hand, and then left hand glove is different from right hand gloves. Left hand glove is different from right hand gloves, isn't it? So we have 4 pairs of black gloves and 3 pairs of red gloves. What is the minimum number of gloves Mr. M must take from the drawer without looking to be certain that he has one perfect pair of same color? Let's start with what can go wrong. The first glove selected is black, but left hand. Second one is also black, but of left hand. Third one is also black, but of left hand. Fourth one is also black, but of left hand. What more can go wrong? The fifth one which I have pulled up is red, but again of left hand. Next one is also red, of left hand. Next one is also red, of left hand. I'm feeling sorry for myself, isn't it? I pulled up 7 and none of it is giving me a pair. But the 8th one which I pulled up, it will be either black right hand or red right hand. Whatever it can be. The 8th one which I pulled up, which Mr. M pulled up, can be right hand black or right hand red, and whatsoever it will go and match any one of these, and hence there would be one perfect pair of same color gloves. Pull up 8 gloves and be 100% sure. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, with pulling up of 2 gloves only, also we can get the same color gloves, but that will happen with probability, not with surety. To be sure, pull up 8 gloves. Just close your eyes and pick up 8. You will see that at least one you have getting a perfect pair of the same color. Knockout tournament. A tournament where one loss and the team is eliminated. Or a single elimination tournament. A single elimination tournament, basketball tournament, have 126 teams competing. How many games must be played until there is a single tournament champion? As we can see that obviously team would be played in rounds. Team would be playing in round. What will happen in round 1? In round 1, 126 teams are there. So 63 matches would be played. In round 2, 63 teams are there. but we can't divide 63 by 2, so let it be 62. 62 teams playing 31 matches, and then 31 teams will move forward, and let us take forward this one team from here. So now we have 32 teams playing 16 match, then we have 16 teams playing 8 teams playing 4 teams playing 2, and then there will be the last match to find the winner. So what is the total now? 90, 100 and 110, 20, 125. 125 matches need to be arranged to find the winner. Okay, now if in case of 126, suppose there are 10804 teams participating, then do we think that it would be feasible enough for us to do something like this? No. Yes, exactly. No. Then what should be the rule? Simple rule. In case of single elimination tournament or kick-out games, the total number of games that need to be played to find the winner is always T minus 1, where T is number of teams participating. If there are T number of teams participating, then number of games that we need to play to find a single winner is T minus 1. Now how we can try to understand like this, that how many winner we want? We want only one winner. Okay, so to have one winner, 125 teams need to be out of the tournament. Now if we look like this, that in each single match, if there is one winner, one team is going home. That means to make one team go home, we need one match. To make 125 teams go home, we require how many matches? We require 125 matches. Or suppose I am one of the team. I am playing with team number 2. Team number 2 loses. I am playing with team number 3, then it loses. Team number 4, it loses. Team number 5, it loses. I am playing with team number 126 then, and it loses. So to pack 125 teams bag and to send them home, I require to win 125 matches. I require 125 matches to be played to find a single tournament champion. In case of knockout games, just remember, total number of games that need to be played is T minus 1. So again a cricket tournament, IPL, Indian Premium League. If 8 teams participate, obviously in this IPL, it is a double league tournament. Means each team played with the other team twice. So as we know that if suppose n teams are there participating, then total number of matches that need to be played in with one another is given by NC2. And since it is a double league tournament, total number of matches that would be played among each another in the simple league round would be 2 into NC2. N is here 8. So it would be 2 into 8C2. That is 2 into 8 into 7 by 2. That is 56. Total 56 matches would be played in the league rounds. Now, as we know about the IPL format, the top 4 team will go into the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2 teams will play one match. The winner will go directly to the final. The loser will go to semi-final. Now these 2 teams will play another match, and the loser will go home, and the winner will go and play the semi-final. Now there will be the semi-final one match. Winner will go and play the final with this. This is one more match. So in the playoffs we have 1, 2, 3, 4 matches. This is how playoffs are like designed for the IPL format. So total number of matches that would be played in an IPL format would be 56 plus 4, that is 60 matches. Brain twister type question. On a shelf, there are 3 boxes. One box contains only nickels, one box contains only gold, and the one box contains a mixture of nickel and gold. So we have gold box, nickel box, and GN box. The 3 levels nickel, gold, and mixed, we call it mixed, fell off and were all put back on the wrong boxes. Suppose here now we have gold where there is no gold. This is nickel where there is no nickel, and this is mixed, which is actually not mixed. Without looking, you need to select one coin from one of the mislabeled boxes and then must correctly label all 3 boxes. From which box? Okay, the question is from which box should you select the coin? Suppose I select the coin from the gold one and I got a nickel. So now, am I sure that this is the nickel box, or it might be a mixed box also? I'm coming again. If I choose a coin from the gold labeled box, which is actually not gold, and I got a gold, I'm sure that it is a mixed box. Then now the mixed box labeled is not mixed. I need to put gold here. Now, am I sure that this is the gold one? Not pretty sure. Same is the case with nickel. If I choose the nickel bag and I pull out a coin and it comes out to be gold, then this is gold. Now gold become nickel. It is not necessary that this will be nickel and this will be mixed. Gold will go to nickel and this is not mixed. I'll go nickel here. So again confused. And if with the nickel I got a gold, then this is a gold, fine. With the nickel box, I get a nickel again. Then that means that it is mixed. If it is a mixed bag, I'll go here and put nickel. But again, I'm not sure that this is nickel or this gold one is nickel. It will go here. This gold will come here. Not necessary. We will always have 2 options when we choose gold or nickel. We might not be in the position to correctly identify. We may be in the position to correctly identify with gold if gold appears. With nickel, if nickel appears, we may identify that which one is the correct bag. But it is not necessary that when we choose gold, we get a gold. We might get a nickel, and if we get a nickel, again we are in a fix that it might be a mixed one or a nickel one. Now suppose from the mixed bag we choose a coin and we get a gold coin. Then it is 100% sure that this is the gold box. That means now instead of mixed, we'll get a gold correctly labeled here and mixed will go there. So now we have this position. This is gold and we know that this is correct. Now among these 2 positions, here we have the nickel board and we know that this is not nickel. If this is not nickel, obviously the nickel board will go here and the mixed board will come here. So this box will contain nickel and this will be a mixed box. Whether we get a gold or nickel. Suppose again this is gold, this is nickel and this is mixed and we are getting a nickel. That means nickel is now placed as mixed and this is mixed nickel and this is correct. Now out of these 2, we know that bag 1 being labeled gold, but there is no gold in this bag. If there is no gold in this bag, this gold will go there and mixed will come here. We would be able to fix up the name if with surety if a coin is drawn from the box mislabeled as mixed. Yes, correctly assumed and correctly said by you people. Whenever we have question like this, always go in for the mixed one and that will be giving us a surety that we would be able to find in which bag is what kind of coin. You can either take one or two steps at a time on a staircase. Suppose we have a staircase like this, and this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At one time, when you are standing at zero position, you can take either one step or two steps at a time, and you want to climb this staircase. Climbing up the staircase, famous question. If there are 10 steps on a staircase, in how many different ways you can climb the staircase? Let us start with a very easy example to share. Suppose there are 3 stairs. Then in how many ways we can climb the 3 stairs? We can climb like 1, 1, 1, one step, one step, one step. Or we can climb like 1, 2, one step and then 2 step. Or we can climb like 2, 1. So in 3 ways, we can climb 3 stairs. Fine. This is easy when there are 3 stairs. But what about the 10? We can take help of permutation process to identify how many cases we can have. Now, first case, in the way 10 steps can be climbed up would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next would be like if I combine the first 2 steps and I take only 2 steps, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then it would be 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It may be like 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, and 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. These can be the basic cases of climbing. Now, since I've used the word arrangement, in how many ways I can climb in this pattern? It is very similar to the number of ways of arranging objects taken all at a time where few objects are alike. So in how many ways this case can be done? Is factorial 10 by factorial 10. That is, in one way only, this case, in this pattern, we can climb the staircase. Now, one can climb the staircase also in this pattern. He can take 2 steps and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 8 times. It may also be like he take 1 step, then 2 step and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That means what? We are looking out for arrangement of 9 steps. Look carefully, these are 9 combination only. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 9. So we have 9 objects and 9 objects can be arranged in factorial 9 ways. But 8 are of similar kind. So in 9 ways, this pattern can be climbed. For third pattern, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Factorial 8 by factorial 2 factorial 6. That is 28 ways we can climb like this. This pattern is 4, 3, 7. Factorial 7 by factorial 4 factorial 3. So it would be 7, 6, 5, 35 ways. For the next pattern, 4, 5, 6. Factorial 6 by factorial 4 factorial 2. 5 into 3 is 15 ways. And the last pattern would be factorial 5 by factorial 5. That is 1 way. So total we have 38. And this is 50. That is 88 and 1. 89 ways. There are 89 ways to climb the staircase, taking only 1 or 2 steps at a time. And if we understand the pattern of permutation, counting, the formula simply uses factorial n by factorial a factorial b if we are arranging n different objects out of which a objects are of same kind and b objects are of same kind. Simple. But one thing, this is an simple application of Fibonacci series. Yes, Fibonacci have used this particular pattern to find his series. And how the Fibonacci series goes? It starts with 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Then 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. Then 13, 21, 34, and then 55. Then we have 89 and on and on. So if these kind of step climbing questions we need to handle, where 1 or 2 steps at a time can only be taken, we will directly use Fibonacci series to identify the answer. And how? We'll start with 0 steps. If there are 0 steps, in how many ways he can climb the staircase? That is one way. And what is that way? He will not climb. So jokes apart, it will start from the second one and start from the second element in the Fibonacci series and count till 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We reach at 89, and this 11th term of the Fibonacci series is actually answered if 10 steps are there on the staircase. We can see for 3 stairs we have identified 3 as the answer. 1, 2, 3. Here also we have got 3. In the 4th term, the answer is 3. So climbing the staircase by taking only 1 or 2 steps at a time, we will always follow Fibonacci series. We can also have addition of 2 Fibonacci series if 1 or 2 or 3 steps are taken at a time. Please, the link of the video is there in the description. Go through it. And what does it say? It will show you different pattern of climbing the staircase. Name of the video is Climbing the Staircase at our channel. Do have a look. A farm has 25 cows numbered 1 to 25. Cow 1 gives 1 liter milk per day. Likewise, cow n gives n liter of milk each day. Okay, that means cow 2 will give 2 liters, cow 3 will give 3 liters, and then cow number 25 will give 25 liters per day. Farmer wants to divide these 25 cows equally among his 5 sons. That means each son should get 25 by 5, that is 5 cows each. Each son should get 5 cows, such that each son gets same volume of milk from their cows at the end of the day. Now, what is the total volume of milk collected is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus till 25. That is n into n plus 1 by 2, n into n plus 1 by 2. 13 into 25. So each son average, each son should get 25 into 3 by 5. That is 25 into 13 by 5. That is 65 liters. That means at the end of the day, each son should get 65 liters of milk from their respective cows. Now, how to identify which cow number should go to which son? It seems like it is like 25, 5 into 5. 5 into 5 grid formation we need to do. And the easiest way out is to make grid like this. Since it is 5 into 5, we will have a diagonal and we will have 5 positions in diagonal. We'll write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in diagonals. Now it's all up to you. Either you start filling up this grid of 5 into 5 horizontally or vertically. Let's fill this horizontally with the remaining numbers. 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And now if we add up, since we have filled up horizontally, if we add up vertically, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65. First column total is 65. 20, 30, 40, 49, 52, 49, 52, 57 and 59, 65. Likewise, if I add the last column, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65. Each column total is 65, and this is, yes, this is magical. This is how this 5 into 5 grid can be produced. Now, the thing is, since we have started filling up horizontally, the vertical total is 65, the horizontal total is not 65. Or else, after filling up the diagonal, if I would have started filling up like vertically, then horizontal total would have been 65. That means with this particular process, we can only have either columns total 65 or row total equals to 65, but not both. But this is again a simple way of finding these kind of answers. Yes, we can use magical 5 into 5 is square format also, and where we can have a square with 5 into 5 such that each row total, each column total, and even each diagonal total is equals to 65. And how? Let's see. Now we have 1 to 25, and the drill starts with the rightmost column center position will write 1, and the movement will be always in the southeast direction. So from 1 I should go to southeast direction, which is vacant. If I find anything, or if I find myself landing on the rightmost column vacant space, I'll hit extreme left, hit extreme left 2, then again to the southeast 3, again to southeast, and if you again land up at the vacant place, hit extreme north. Now just keep on following this. 4, 5, southeast is occupied, go to the next left. So here is the fourth step, that is next left. Then southeast 7, 8, we reach here, hit extreme left 9, down north 10, again 6 is occupied, go to just left 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and if you hit this box, this is known as black space, just go to just left 16, down up north 17, southeast vacant, hit left 18, 19, 20, 16 occupied, hit just left 21, 22, southeast, go and hit north 23, then southeast 24, hit left 25. Bingo, it's done. All the column, all the rows, and even the diagonal, all 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 elements, total is 65. Do take out some time and go through the links given in the description of different magical squares of 3 into 3, 4 into 4, 5 into 5, which we can do, and I'll try to upload 6 into 6 and 7 into 7 also very soon, so that you can practice, and you never know where you may be using these kind of stuff. That's the best of TCS Digital for you. So thank you everyone for participating. I hope these 10 good reasoning based question, good drama question, good question, best of TCS Digital must have excited you. And yes, these questions we have done in a hurry. There is detailed description of many questions we have done in detail with great concepts and more detailing, and all the links are there in the description. Go through it, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to MJ's Maths and Stats. That's MJ Magic Studio to you. I'm Mohit Jain taking a leave, and on this hope that I'll see you soon very soon. Thank you once again for participating. Take care. Stay safe.
നന്ദി പാടാ